So now let's do an example problem applying what we learned in the last video. So this example problem says, what is the surface area to volume ratio of a cuboidal cell that measures 4 centimeters on a side? They also ask us a second question. Determine if this cell is more or less efficient than a cell with a side length of 5 centimeters. So we're going to do two things. Let's start with the first part of the problem where we calculate out surface area to volume ratio. So we need those equations that we talked about in the previous video. The first equation said that surface area is equal to 6 times your side squared. So plugging in that our side is 4 centimeters, we get 6 times 4 squared. 4 squared ends up being 16. So we are doing 6 times 16, which ends up being 96 centimeters squared. That's our first step. Second step, we had to calculate out the volume. The volume of a cube is equal to the side of the cube cubed. So side cubed. So plugging in our number, volume equals 4 cubed. And 4 cubed, 4 times 4 times 4, is equal to 64. Last step that we need to do to find the surface area to volume ratio is to divide these two. So we are going to take 96 divided by 64, and plugging that into our calculator, we get that our surface area to volume ratio is 1.5 or 1.5 to 1. So that's our surface area to volume ratio for our cell that has a side of 4 centimeters. But now, is this cell more or less efficient than a cell with a side length of 5? Now, if you don't remember SMELI, what you would have to do is you would have to go through these steps and calculate out what your surface area to volume ratio is with a cell that has 5 centimeters for its side. And then you would compare the two numbers. Whatever number is bigger, that's the one that's more efficient. However, here's a shortcut if we remember the word SMELI. We don't have to do any extra work. Smaller cells are more efficient. Larger cells are less efficient. So if we want the one to figure out which is more efficient, it's the smaller cell. So our 4 centimeter cell is smaller than the 5 centimeter cell. Our 4 centimeter cell is smaller. It's going to be more efficient.